This is another dual purpose video, great information to know if you are getting your license still, and of course, if you plan on real world working with lease clients. I have some fantastic videos on this channel regarding leases, and it is an amazing place to start, especially for brand new real estate agents here in Ontario, Canada. This video is on everything lease deposits specifically, but if you are looking for it all, how to work with tenants, how to work with landlords from A to Z, specifically here in Ontario, Canada, look to the real estate lead and brand mastery course in the description below. More on that later in the video, but let's just dive right into it. Okay, so you know me, I love numbered steps. It's going to be 5 steps on the tenant side and 4 steps on the list landlord side. I'll make it quick and efficient, but stick around to the end and we'll talk on the interest that must be paid by the landlord on the deposit, but doesn't always happen. Okay, so first the tenant side. Hypothetically, we just had a lease offer accepted and now we have 24 hours to get the deposit to the listing agent, essentially the listing brokerage. For this example, we're going to say our lease is a monthly lease of $2,300, and how it is written on the agreement to lease is first and last usually. So we're going to say for this example, our deposit is going to be double that at $4,600. Quick note, although at this point we are getting that 2 months, which is the normal first and last, the actual deposit that the landlord is holding will actually only be 1 month's rent, which is considered the last at $2,300. We'll talk about that later in the video as well. Okay, step 1, offer accepted. You, the cooperating agent, collect the $4,600 deposit from your tenant client, usually as a bank draft payable to the listing brokerage. Step 2, deposit handling. That bank draft is uploaded or delivered, either physically drop off at the listing brokerage's office or at a bank they are partnered with, or digitally via an application. It will depend on their policy and how they handle the deposit. You will be in discussion with the listing agent about this. Step 3, listing brokerage holds the deposit. Short one here, the listing brokerage deposits the $4,600 into the real estate trust account at this time. Step 4, the tenant moves in and commission gets paid. After the lease closes, the listing brokerage is responsible for dispersing commission to the cooperating brokerage. We'll do an example on this one that again is the usual of what happens the most. If commission is 1 month's rent split 50-50, so if $2,300, your brokerage gets $1,150 plus HST, total $1,299.50. The listing brokerage sends this to your brokerage, typically via check or EFT after the lease starts or upon mutual agreement. Some offices actually pay out earlier, but that is usually the timing of that payment. Step 5, you now actually get paid from your brokerage. Your brokerage pays you your share based on your split that you have with them. That is the tenant side there. Although confusing a lot of the times, I get so many questions on how that's handled. Once it's perfectly organized like that, it looks pretty sweet, pretty easy. Let's move over to the list landlord side. This is essentially the reverse, right? But it's nice to know, and it's a little bit different at the end. Step 1, deposit is received. You or your office admin receive the $4,600 deposit first and last month's, right? Which is how it's written on the agreement to lease. Again, I say your admins because you could drop it off at your brokerage. Like said, they could drop it off your brokerage. They could drop it off at a bank like mentioned. They can use the application if they're not a Stone Age brokerage, or you might even have to meet with the other agent. That can happen occasionally as well. Step 2, your commission is owed. The lease is now closed and your brokerage is entitled to 1 month's rent as commission, usually split 50-50 with the cooperating brokerage. You again get $1,150 plus HST, $1,299.50, same as the cooperating agent. Quick note on this, once you are the listing agent, right, you can charge to a certain extent whatever you like. Usually the norm right now is 1 month's rent plus HST. Then of course you pay the cooperating agent half that. However, sometimes I have found, and we've even done it ourselves, we've charged a month and a half, right? The listing agent in this particular case might have a few more fees, right? So they might have obviously photos, they might go a bit further into some light staging, maybe even some video cleaning if they provide it, right? So you have to take this into consideration. If you do charge a month and a half as the listing agent, you might get the lion's share of 1 month plus HST, and you are paying out the cooperating agent half months. Just so you know, we are independent contractors and you can charge what you desire. Step 3, commission disbursement. Your brokerage pays the cooperating brokerage their half month's rent plus HST, pays you, the listing agent, your half, and again, will depend on your internal split that you have with your brokerage at that time. Step 4, different now from the tenant side steps. The landlord gets remaining funds. In this example, after commissions are paid out, the remaining funds of $4,600 minus $2,599 equals $2,001 are forwarded to the landlord, often in the form of direct deposit check or bank draft. Your admins will usually coordinate this and just ask you as the listing agent to maybe get your landlord, your client at this time, your listing client, get their bank details so they can direct deposit it. Will most likely be the case. Okay, let's quick talk on interest owed on that deposit. Not only just for what's going to happen in the real world, that it's a weird one in the real world, but these questions do come up on these exams while you're getting your license, specifically course 3. So this is usually arranged privately between the tenant and the landlord. You're not so much involved. Once the deal is done, we're not so much property managers, if you know what I mean. We of course are staying in great communication with our client, whether tenant or the landlord, right, or the list side, because these are repeat sales referrals in the future, but we're not keeping an eye on the interest. So this is going to be between the tenant and the landlord to remember. So option 1 for this, either cash, e-transfer, the landlord sends the tenant a small e-transfer or check for the interest owed on the deposit once per year. Option 2, credit towards future rent. More commonly, the landlord will just give 1 month's rent, deducting the interest from what's owed on that month. Example would be, let's say it's $2,300 and interest owed is $5,750. The tenant pays $2,242.50 for that particular month. Or option 3, no action, which is a violation. Some landlords will skip or forget to do this step, but technically failing to pay interest is a violation of the Residential Tenancies Act, RTA, and the tenant could apply to the Landlord and Tenant Board, LTB. Again, as the agent or broker, this isn't our responsibility to enforce this at this stage, but of course, it's nice to remind them, possibly at closing, that 1 year from now, guess what? That deposit is interest owed or earned or getting for the tenant. Okay guys, great topic here. And of course, if you are wanting to work with lease clients, which is a fantastic way to start your career, I've seen agents go through this program I have for you and literally do 20 leases in their first 3 months, getting their last month to $10,000 per. I didn't know the value of leases when I started until now. You can do this job. The person did 20 leases. They made almost $20,000 in the first 3 months, and they also had 12 Google reviews, right? Fantastic way to start your business. Look to the Lease Real Estate Lead and Growth Mastery course in the description below. Again, entire process from A to Z. First, the logistics and action sides of working with both tenants and landlords, then get into the fun stuff, how to generate leads, get those clients and close those deals. 0 to first 10K per month, like mentioned, is the goal of this course, and everything is included. I've been asked so many times by people that have started, they followed me along all the way through the journey. They realize once they've started, they need to start making money. I had to put this together because I know how valuable it can be. That link in the description below is also, for the time being, a value link for the YouTube family, which will not last. Get it now. Best part is get it now, take action, and of course, you have it to refer back to for life. That course does not expire. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll add that value link right here for the time being for that course. If you have any questions at all, DM, email, comment on this video. I get back to everyone. My name's Callum Moore, eXp Realty real estate broker here in Ontario. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.